Hello, my name is Jeremy Barnes, and today I'm going to do a video about the two now Avengers Doomsday trailers. I wanted to do one after the first trailer, which I actually didn't love. I was excited still for the movie, but I think I was less excited than I was before I saw the trailer. But now that the second trailer has come out, which is called The Special Look, that one fucking got me. So like now I am hyped, so now it's probably even a better time to even do this video. But I'm gonna kind of run through like my original thoughts after the first trailer, and then my additional thoughts now that I've seen the new one. So from the first trailer, when the trailer starts, I did not know that the voiceover at the beginning was Doom. I actually thought it was Nightcrawler at first, because I know Nightcrawler's in the movie, and he has kind of like a European accent, and like what I've seen him in, well actually in the movie too, but also more recently in X-Men 97. But then I realized by the end of the trailer, like, no, that's actually Dr. Doom's voice. So I thought it was cool that Robert Downey Jr. is not gonna sound like Robert Downey Jr. in the movie, and he has like his own Doom accent. At first I wasn't sure it was good for Doom, but now that the second trailer has come and we've heard him a little bit more, I've come to accept the voice and I think like appreciate it more. And I think it actually does work. So I'm looking forward to seeing more of what Downey could do for the character, which I'll tell you off the bat too, when that casting came out, I was not fucking happy about that. I was actually like really like just confused. I was like, what? Why the fuck would you cast Robert Downey Jr., who played Iron Man, the biggest MCU hero, as Dr. Doom, who's like arguably the biggest, like, or one of the biggest Marvel villains in the entire comic book continuity? Like, to me, it didn't make sense to do that. I thought you would get, you know, somebody new to play this new version of the character, because we've seen him in two versions already before in like movies in my lifetime. The first one was good, but he's not like, he doesn't live up to the level of Doom in the comics. And then the second one was just terrible. So, but at this point, you know, Robert Downey Jr. is doing what the fuck he knows how to do with it. So I do have faith that I will like his Doom by the end of the movie. I just don't know if I'll like the explanation for why specifically it had to be Robert Downey Jr. And I think that has to be a story beat. So we'll see, like, you know, if the Avengers from the main timeline 616 sees Doom's face and it looks like Tony Stark from their universe, you know, there's got to be some sort of reaction to that, and like a good reasoning for him to have that same face. So that remains to be seen. But just Doom himself, I think he looks really good. I figured after the first trailer that Doom must be, and even after the Fantastic Four movie, that he must be from that universe, from Earth 828, because there was like a little bit of a tease for him in that movie, when they had the United Nations panel and they had a thing for Latveria and there was nobody there. I seen a video with Eric Voss that talked about like it might have been because the previous leader was not Doom, but there's like a civil war in Latveria where like by the time Avengers Doomsday comes out, Doom is the leader, the sole leader of Latveria, and because he won whatever war that was going on during the United Nations meeting, which is why that person couldn't go. Originally I just thought like Doom doesn't go to that shit, he just fucking runs his country and that's it. But I think it makes more sense what Eric Voss said, because why would Latveria even be part of the United Nations if he didn't like take part in those meetings? But the special look kind of confirms, yes, that Doom is from Earth 828. So I like that they'll have that connection with the Fantastic Four, because Doom normally does. and that's not going to change, so that's good. I think the unthinkable decision that Doom references in the first trailer is sacrificing universes to save another, and obviously I believe he would be wanting to save his universe, which is Earth 828, the same as the Fantastic Four. But it seems like he's going to be talking to people from maybe another or multiple different universes when he says this, or just to the Fantastic Four maybe, to see if they would be willing to do that and like kind of work with him in that process, which, you know, obviously comes at a immense cost. And I'm also just running through the trailer kind of in the order that we see things in it. So the next thing is new Avengers Tower, which we see in the New York skyline of the 616 universe. And that shit is ugly as fuck. What Steve said in Avengers 1 about Stark Tower being ugly, like, that's nothing compared to new Avengers Tower. That shit's fucking hideous. They should have just kept it as it was in Thunderbolts. Like, that should look pretty fucking cool, just without any sort of branding or logo on it. With that kind of gold streak, I like that. But now it has like that little red and that ugly ass Avengers logo, and that motherfucker's big in the middle of the building. That shit is just hideous. I think it's interesting that Thor is the one that introduces the Fantastic Four in that first trailer. I think maybe it's because he's the first to witness that universe's incursion into the 616. And I think maybe when that happens, you know, Doom will be coming through at the same time. And that might be when the fight breaks out between Dr. Doom and Thor. But I don't know. Based off of what Thor is saying, I wonder like if he's seen other worlds die already. Like if he's already witnessed the end of other worlds due to these incursions. Or is it just whatever the incursion that is happening causes like immediate destruction into part of 616 when the incursion begins, and that's kind of what he's referring to. I don't know, but I'll go into that a little bit more as we get to the like kind of ending moment with him. We also see Namor return in this trailer. I'm not a fan of his fucking new look. That shit looks cheap as fuck. There's also some other like visual things about the movie that it doesn't look great to me. And the main other one is some of the hairstyling in the movie. Like Bucky, I thought looked completely fine at the end of Thunderbolts and the kind of post-credit scene for that, which I believe will be a scene in Avengers Doomsday. But there's a shot in this trailer that like he looks completely different and that wig looks fucking horrible. So I don't know what the fuck is up with that. Hopefully it's like not a lot part of the movie, but there's also something with Steve. I don't know, he looked really good with the beard in Infinity War, but there's something about him that just doesn't look right. Like I didn't even recognize him at first when he first shows up in the trailer. At first I thought he was Bucky, because Bucky I think also has a beard and he has like that long hair too. So I feel like they kind of like painted themselves into a corner with Steve's look in the movie, where he doesn't have no sort of costume on and he's just wearing like regular clothes. Because that's kind of how Bucky dressed in Thunderbolts. Now I think he has more of kind of like a uniform now that he is part of the new Avengers, but it's still like he doesn't have like bright colors or anything. He doesn't stand out. So they're both kind of wearing similarly dark colors and they have beard and long hair. So it's just kind of confusing. And they both in this trailer don't look really very good, in my opinion. In Talocan, I do love the idea of the changing atmosphere due to the incursions. I liked how it looks. Like it looks beautiful to me. And I like how, you know, that makes sense. If another planet is kind of like colliding with our planet, you know, there would be some weird fucking shit happening with the oceans and wind and weather and all that. So I do like that inclusion. I feel like the most exciting part of the trailer is the Shang-Chi versus Gambit fight. Shang-Chi, I guess I should say, that's how it's pronounced. That was the only part that like really kind of got me. Like, even the part at the end with Doom, I didn't really fucking feel it. Like, I didn't get, like, hyped. I was surprised that he could do what he did, when he just stops Thor's axe with the two fucking fingers, and then, like, is completely unfazed, seemingly. But it didn't, like, wow me like Infinity War or even Avengers Age of Ultron when that first trailer came out. I didn't reach those levels of hype from back then. But the most exciting thing was that Gambit fight. I think that shit looks really cool because it looks like the choreography is going to be really good for both of them. Gambit, I didn't think he stood out as much in Deadpool and Wolverine with the choreography, but he was cool. Shang-Chi obviously has fucking awesome choreography. He's a real martial artist, but I think this fight will be really cool with Gambit, and it's just cool to see, well, Gambit really being with the X-Men and then kind of colliding with the Avengers in this way. I was dissatisfied with how little Sam as Captain America was spotlighted in both trailers so far. I don't think he might not even be in the second trailer, but he was in the first one, but he doesn't seem like a focus of the movie for me, which is crazy to me. In an Avengers movie, it's called Avengers Doomsday, that fucking Captain America, the supposed, like, he's supposed to be the leader of the Avengers, is not a big part of it. I hope they're kind of just saving some stuff and he does have a good role in the movie, but we just have to wait and see about that, I guess. I'm glad that him, Sam, and Bucky have made up from that post-credit scene from Thunderbolts, and I'm curious to see what their response to Steve's return will be. That is like an exciting kind of reason to get Steve back, I think. Because I didn't really know about that. I think I bought that more when I found out about it than the Robert Downey Jr. as Dr. Doom thing, because we never saw Captain America die or anything. So there was always kind of that possibility that he could come back. But I don't know if he needed to, and like, we'll see what they do with him. I hope it's something good. I like that he does have, you know, of this family life that we saw in the kind of first teaser with Steve when they kind of revealed it back in December of last year. So I'm happy that we're not going to just completely get rid of that, and I think that'll kind of play into things a bit. Kind of with what I was talking about earlier about Steve's hair and his just general look, something about him feels off to me. Like, I don't know if I trust him. Like, I don't think he might not be necessarily the Steve from our universe that went out to live with Peggy. I feel like it could potentially be a whole, like, separate universe version of Steve that might have, like, darker intentions, which would mean that I think there has to be two Steves in this movie if that is the case. I don't know, but like, this is why the kind of scene at the end with him that kind of reveals him in this trailer didn't really like do anything for me. But I'll get back to that, I think, in a little bit. We see Mystique when the X-Men are fighting some of the new Avengers, or the kind of core Sam Avengers team. And I like Mystique's look, but I don't like her transformation, which is a little bit different from how it was in the X-Men movies, and I think this one is a downgrade, because before it was cool where it was like this domino effect where her skin starts to change, like shapeshift, kind of like starting from one spot and then goes all the way down, whereas here it's like you just snap and then like it's like a flip, like everything kind of just switches immediately, and I feel like it looks a little bit cheaper like that. But when she is in her like natural form, I think she does look good, and the outfit that she has is cool. I hope Scott Lang, Ant-Man, doesn't just leave his daughter, which we see in the trailer, and Hope, Wasp, when he comes into this movie, because we don't see Wasp in any of the trailer, and she was not announced for the cast. obviously Cassie was, and she appears here. But because of the way that it shows it, it seems like she might not play into the action, which is kind of like, doesn't make sense, because why would she be in the movie with Scott but not getting on the action when the stakes are so fucking big? And she has suited up before as her own kind of superhero. So I hope Cassie and Hope are part of the action at some point in the movie. Maybe they fucking die in the Incursion. I don't know. But I hope it's not just like, you know, they're just not there. Because people are complaining, and I think it's very valid, that there's like hardly any women in this movie. So it just seems like an odd choice to leave literally all the women out of the movie. If Doom's got some weird shit where like that's the reason why, then okay, I guess I could get behind that. And it would paint him in a more villainous light, that he's like doing something with the women for whatever purpose. I don't know, but like same thing with the X-Men too. Like we don't have Storm or Jean Grey coming back, which would be fucking awesome if they did. But you know, I hope there's a reason, and it's not just that they're listening to the fucking stupid ass MCU is woke bitch ass fanboys, or I don't even know what the fuck to call them. They're pretty much just haters. Like I don't even think they're really real fans, to be honest. I hope it's not just them listening to them and like that's why there's no fucking women in the movie, but I guess we'll have to wait and see about that. Now Thor's speech, when he's talking about like if we come back, I wonder if he's referring to Battleworld. Like they have to go out to Battleworld and they're like literally leaving their world, and they don't know if they're gonna come back to the same world once all the dust is settled. I don't know how much he knows about what Doom is doing and what's gonna happen, you know, that creates Battleworld, but that's kind of what I thought about when I was hearing that. And then when Doom does stop Thor's axe, I feel like the reason why he's able to do it so easily is because of magic. I think he has runes, like we see on his armor, that is able to protect him. It's like some sort of runes of protection. And then in the second trailer, we also see his throne, which I think around the throne also has similar runes, so that nobody could, you know, try to attack him when he's sitting in the throne. So I think the key to defeating Doom will be magic users, which would be Doctor Strange, who we haven't seen and hasn't been confirmed for the movie. The return of Scarlet Witch, which I'm fucking praying happens in either this movie or in Secret Wars. And I don't know, this movie's already stacked, so I don't think these characters will be in Doomsday. I think they'll have to come back in Secret Wars, and then that'll obviously be when Doom is defeated. And then Doctor Strange, when we last saw him, was leaving out to another dimension with Clea, who is cast, but like we didn't really get to see her or know her character. So I would imagine when Doctor Strange comes back, she'll be with him. And obviously she knows magic too. She's Dormammu's daughter, per the comic book kind of lore. And we have seen, like, with kind of costumes at the cons, at the conventions, CinemaCon and D23 and maybe other stuff, that Doom is going to have like a kind of little coven of witches on his side. So people think that's where these characters will kind of factor in. Maybe Strange is there too, or maybe it's literally just like women witches, which like maybe Agatha could be part of that too. I mean, I don't know, probably not, but you know, that would be kind of cool if we got some of those witches from Agatha all along. And I got more to talk about that when it comes to the Vision Quest trailer, which just came out at D23. But that'll be for another video. The miracle that Thor says that they will need to face this threat, I don't think is Steve, which the trailer makes it seem like it is. because that just doesn't make sense to me. Like, yes, as surprising as it might be to see Steve again when he probably thought he would never see him again, it's not impossible, like, based off of what we have seen, you know? So, it's not a miracle for Steve to come back. But, Wanda, as far as we know, has actually died. So, if she returns, that would be the miracle that we need. And they even referred to her and Pietro as miracles at the end of Winter Soldier, the first time we saw them in that post-credit scene. And Baron von Strucker said that this is the age of miracles when we were introduced to them. So I feel like, you know, the same people that wrote and directed that movie are the ones coming back for this. So I feel like that kind of might be a little bit of a tease. You know, fingers crossed about that. Now, that final moment when Thor sees Steve, I was not impacted at all emotionally by that. And like I said, it kind of goes to the idea that I don't feel like that's actually Steve. And then also, you know, it's not a miracle for him to be there. But in terms of like a Steve reveal, I preferred the vignette from Christmas time that we got. And I like that they used that in the special look, which I'll be getting into shortly. And I think Thor's line when he's like, "That's impossible," refers not to him seeing Steve, but when he sees Doom's face under the mask, which will look like Robert Downey Jr., obviously Tony Stark in his lifetime, in Thor's lifetime. Because he'll be like, what the fuck? Like, why is this guy look like Tony Stark, Iron Man, but he's like nothing like him? Or that might be his reaction when he sees Loki again, which I think will happen in this movie, and I hope it does. Because Loki, like I said about Wanda, also has actually finally died in the 616 timeline. And I think Loki might actually be the one to recruit Steve and bring him back into the whatever timeline of events that is happening in this movie. And speaking of Loki, like, he's in a TVA outfit when we see him. So the last time that we saw Loki, he was holding up all the branches of the multiverse in whatever the fuck dimension it is, kind of outside of time and space. So I don't know how the fuck he'll factor in to actually have this like physical presence. I don't know if he could like kind of project an appearance and that's what it is, or if he's literally has somehow been able to move from that position where he's holding everything together. Maybe Doom forces him to kind of have to let everything go and start to just collide on its own and not live in the harmony of the timeline world tree. And then that's when he comes in. I don't know, but I'm very curious about that. Or it could be just like another Loki variant from one of those timelines, or from kind of that time slipping era from Loki season 2. I don't know. I just hope it's not like too convoluted or confusing. Which I think they kind of have to do for people, you know, who don't have Disney Plus and haven't been keeping up with everything. Like, they'll just, the last time they would have seen Loki would have been in Avengers Endgame, when he disappeared with the Tesseract in the 2012 timeline. But the last thing about the first trailer that I want to mention is that out of all the cast members that were revealed from that chair thing, the only ones that we don't see in this trailer are Nightcrawler and Beast from the X-Men. But at this point of recording, after the second trailer has come out, we have seen artwork of them finally. And Nightcrawler looks like an old ass motherfucker now, but Beast looks dope. So I'll just show you the artwork here. But their absence from both trailers makes me wonder, and I hope this is not the case, if they might be killed off immediately when the incursion starts into the X-Men universe. I hope that's not the case. I hope they get to do something like Beast, something scientific, Nightcrawler, some action. But just like with everything, we gotta just wait and see. Alright, but now I'm gonna go straight into the Comic-Con D23 trailer, the special look. So this one fucking hyped me up. Now I'm fucking hyped for the movie. I have a lot more faith in it. Doom's aura is fucking over 9,000. Like I said, I like the voice a lot more now that I've heard a little bit more of it. But I think what really fucking made this trailer hype is the fucking music, which was kind of lacking in the first trailer. And the music is always what it fucking, the thing that does that with you, I think. At least for me. Because the Avengers 1 theme music is iconic. Like, that shit's so fucking good. And then the trailer for Infinity War, that trailer music was fucking hype. Doomsday trailer 1, no. But this one, it's like fucking menacing. Like, I'm actually scared of Doom because of the music. But just everything about him, like, I was like, holy shit. I love the focus on the Reed and Doom dynamic in this second trailer, which painted that picture that yes, he has history with the Fantastic Four because Sue also knows him, so she's met him before, and she said that she saw him as like being kind and whatever before, but then he had some loss, which I'm assuming happened very recently, and in my mind it must be due to the Incursions that he lost whoever this person is. And I didn't know about his backstory at all from the comics. So all of this is kind of completely new to me. But now that Doomsday, you know, is approaching, I've heard people say that in the comics, it's his mother that he loses. But I've heard rumors that in the movie, it might be like a wife of some sort. I don't know. I feel like it still could be his mom because there's like a kid in the kind of mural that's also on the poster for the movie. The first one that they released, and it could be Doom as a kid with his mother. And honestly, that mural kind of makes me think about Wanda and her kids with that mural in Multiverse of Madness. It would be crazy if in Doom's universe Wanda exists and she's his wife and they have a kid. I don't know, that's just like, I think there might have been something with Doom and Wanda in some universe in the comics. I don't think it's the sacred timeline or the like 616 timeline, but you know, that might be kind of interesting. I don't know if I necessarily want to see that, mostly because it's specifically Robert Downey Jr. as Doom. And Wanda's whole kind of backstory ties to Tony Stark, where like she hated him her whole life because Stark Industries is the one that killed her family. But it would be, you know, have a lot of kind of drama involved with that if they do something like that. I just want Wanda back though, so she don't have to have no sort of connection. But I loved seeing the stakes in this trailer, which we didn't. Like, we got the stakes kind of just from Thor's, the way he painted Doom in the first trailer, but we don't get to really see it or know what it is. But in this trailer, they show some of that stuff that we got in those vignettes where it comes down to the children. It's Franklin from Fantastic Four. It's Thor's adopted daughter, Love, from Thor Love and Thunder, and Steve, we find out from that vignette and in this trailer that he has a son as well with Peggy. So those are the stakes, and I love that they put that here. We needed that shit, and I feel like this trailer really should have been the first trailer, should have been the teaser trailer for the movie, and then the other trailer could have been just a mid kind of additional trailer that kind of just shows all the characters. But we also see for the first time in this trailer the Void, which, you know, it looks like the Void from Loki, pretty much to me. The Deadpool and Wolverine Void for some reason didn't look the same, but this one looks more like the Loki Void, which in my opinion is better. Maybe it's one of these universes. New York, I don't know, because it's not really clear. But to me, it just looks like the Void that as we've already seen it. But is it Battleworld already when we see this? I don't know. But it's a question that I have. And then the last thing for that I want to add is that Doom versus Thor fight, in my opinion, hit way harder in this trailer because of the in-scene dialogue that we get. Thor, before he attacks him, he's like, "You will beg for hell long before I grant it," which means Thor is gonna go for the kill shot, and he does like go for the head, which he learned from Thanos to do, but then Doom blocks it, and Doom's like, "Get the fuck out of here, you're nothing to me," and he's like, "Hell answers to me." That shit was crazy. That dude got so much fucking aura points. And that's always my favorite fucking thing with the Avengers villains. Like, they always have some fucking badass lines. Loki in Avengers 1 was kind of scary. Like, I think that was the scariest that Loki's ever been. He didn't have necessarily like some badass lines like that, but he did have some kind of like good, like kind of Shakespearean writing dialogue. But Ultron, I thought, had some badass lines. Thanos is a fucking badass every time we see him, and he's always fucking spitting bars. And Doom is like, he's just fucking showing off. So, yeah, this trailer definitely hyped me up more for Doom as a character, but also for the movie. And I'm excited. What do you guys think? Let me know. And I'll catch you next time. Peace.